Welcome to another installment of This Is Not Normal on the Political Drain podcast with Drill Sergeant Doug, aka Admin Doug, a U.S. Army veteran, teacher, musician, and family man from Jamaica, now fights for justice and democracy through commentary and humor. Follow him on YouTube at Political Drain and at Sons of Liberty Official as Drill Sergeant, aka Admin Doug, continues to protect our freedoms.
Well, I wasn't planning on doing this today. What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant here. And SCOTUS has decided to help Trump not feed millions of kids. SNAP. You know, the one that all the other courts said, hey, Trump, orange maniac, give the money so the kids can eat. Finally made it to SCOTUS, an emergency appeal, and well, what I'm going to do is let you hear it from Belle of the Ranch, because she's really good at keeping things concise, much better than me. And then I have a statement after that to kind of give you more context, and then I'm going to go back to enjoying my Saturday. Watch this.
We're going to talk about SCOTUS blocking SNAP for Trump. Quick recap. A federal judge was presiding over a case about SNAP and seemed to believe the Trump administration was stalling for political reasons. The judge ordered the administration to immediately fund SNAP by Friday. There are signs the administration started to comply while also pursuing its appeals. So first, the administration went to the Boston-based appeals court to try to get them to put an emergency hold on the order. As predicted, that court was basically like, nope. The administration then went to the Supreme Court emergency appeal to temporarily block the court order. They got it. The block is in place until 48 hours after the appeals court rules on whether or not to have a more permanent block. The additional time is to give Trump a chance to go back to the Supreme Court after the appeals court rules. When we said to plan like you wouldn't get the money until it was actually on your card, this was one of the scenarios we were concerned about. It was a possibility the court system would work this fast. Some states have reportedly already started putting money on cards, but there's no telling how much this will alter the plans of those in other states. SNAP helps feed 42 million Americans, most of whom are children, the elderly, and people with disabilities. In a recent video on the other channel, I remarked about the Orphan Starver 2000. While most people got it, I got a little pushback, saying it was over the top. Was it though? That video is just a couple of days old, and now the Trump administration has gone all the way to the Supreme Court to try to avoid helping feed 16 million children. Let's be clear, a normal presidency would have loved to get a court order to allow them to feed the nation's children. Trump's administration is fighting it. That will forever be part of the Trump legacy. This administration fought against a court order that gave them a way to feed America's children. It'll be in the history books. It very well may be part of the defining legacy of MAGA. Shortly after Trump attended a Great Gatsby party while building a ballroom for more parties for the rich during the longest government shutdown in American history, while there was a shaky economy and consumer confidence is near record lows, with inflation above target. Less than 3 weeks before Thanksgiving, the Trump administration went all the way to the Supreme Court to try to avoid helping tens of millions of Americans eat.
There you have it. There you have it. I'm sorry to those of you who are affected by this. And I'm sorry to all of us, because whether you know it or not, we're all affected by this. Seeing as how SNAP basically funds most of your grocery stores, funds whatever farmers are left. That money doesn't just end up in a bubble to poor black people that you don't like. It actually goes to buy food, and it's circulated. Anyway, here's another thing. You see, California, they put money on their EBT cards, and a few other states, like Bell said, have already put money on there. They did that through their state funds, hoping that they would get it back. Some of them may have done this or that or found a way to move money and maybe kind of federal. But this goes to the idea that people who are here illegally get health care funding from the ACA. The deal is people like California, those states and those other states who've already started to put money on the books for EBT do the same thing with health care, because they're not evil, diabolical, ghoulish vampires. And so they use state money to help out people who need help, who are in hospitals. And they can only do that because the ACA made regular health care for citizens affordable. Now they're going to have to take the money that they used to use to help children in need, whether they're citizens or not, and not be able to help them. That's what they meant by that. There were no federal funds going there. These are a few states who decided that they were decent, and now they can't be decent. So also remind yourself, when you see these SNAP benefits going away, but people in California saying they got theirs and other states saying they got theirs, or just a couple $100 less than it should have been, though, which is horrible. That's the same thing that they're talking about with illegal people who are here legally getting health care. There was no funding for them. Individual states who decided not to bury themselves and come out in the middle of the night because the sun ruins their skin, like they're vampire states, like the rest of the red states that suck all the money from the rest of those blue states who were able to do that for their people as well as the ACA. That's what they're talking about. Not only do we not want to help people, human beings who are here undocumented, but we don't even want those states to be able to do it. So we'd rather get rid of health care for everybody instead. That's what they're talking about. It has nothing to do with the ACA. The people who will be kicked off the ACA will be citizens. That's it.
Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're going to pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads. It's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works. Follow us on all these things you see here, and our link tree is in the description. Maybe even get some merch.
That was the Political Drain podcast, which can be heard on www.groovechillradio.com/political-drain and can be viewed on the Political Drain YouTube channel anytime. Once again, thank you for listening to Groove Chill as we resist fascism in any form, pursue democracy, peace, and love.